We, as in everyone in the impact space, say this all the time. A nonprofit is a business. We say it, we hum it, we tap dance it, we send it by carrier pigeon, and yet the message is still not carried across. And a prime example of this would be the person who says, I'm thinking about starting a nonprofit. And I'm starting it because I don't think what I'm doing would really work as a for-profit because I wouldn't make any money. Or I've tried it as a for-profit and it didn't make any money. Insert side-eye emoji here. Because this reminds me of the person who donates their VCR to Goodwill because they don't see use for it. And you think, riddle me this. If you don't see use for your VCR, who is going to see use for your VCR? Right? And so similarly, if something that you have tried or are thinking of trying, no one shows interest in as a for-profit business, then why would we throw it out there as a nonprofit business, right? So I get that there are factors at play here, though. There is a lot of things that can tie into revenue. For example, you're working with vulnerable populations, you're working with the economically disadvantaged. There's some aspects of industry that don't like when you present yourself as anything other than a nonprofit. For example, a lot of churches don't like working with organizations that are not 501c3s. I don't agree with it, but that's a whole different video on a whole different day. And honestly, I think those are different entirely because there's still ways to accommodate for a lot of that. And I'm not necessarily saying a 501c3 is never the right choice. It absolutely is in some instances. But it isn't always the right choice necessarily because you believe something hasn't or wouldn't work as a for-profit. And it doesn't require that we subscribe to the belief, I don't at least subscribe to the belief that the same principles of demand shouldn't apply to nonprofits the same way that they do to for-profits. And so if you've tried something as a traditional for-profit, if you are thinking of trying something as a traditional for-profit and don't think it will work, can we get introspective about why that is? Was it marketing? Was it a lack of key partners? Is it unclear mission or demographic? Are there muddy channels? No channels for selling at all? Is it a failure to differentiate yourself from other people? Is the value not clear? Is the pricing maybe not where it needs to be? Or, and I hate to put this out there, is it just something that people don't really need right now? Right? And so I'm all for offering services to the community, but I'm not here for imposing services on the community under the auspices of it being a nonprofit. And so, not ironically, when I have people who tell me that they open something as a for-profit and struggle, they typically struggle also as a nonprofit because there really wasn't that introspection again to see, well, what are some of the root causes for why this may or may not have been. And so if you are in this boat, don't despair. If you're thinking about starting an organization, if you have started an organization and you did so under those auspices, I have a few different resources on the website, one of which is a lead page that you can purchase to figure out, should we be a 501c3? Should we have a social enterprise? Should it be a hybrid? What should it look like? So I have that guide. I'm here as always to answer any questions that you may have. And so again, in summary, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be 501c3s. I don't believe that there are too many 501c3s. I believe there are too many unimpactful 501c3s. And I think that's the case because we're not really getting deep and introspective about why it is that we're doing what we're doing and how we can make it successful. And then breaking out of those more traditional patterns and saying, you know what, I've seen this as a charity, but I wonder if I could do it as something different. So don't be afraid to be innovative. Alrighty.